So my friend from Read and Reread, Angelia, has been showcasing on her channel for December the festive holiday attire that she's thrifted over the years. And she is a retired elementary school librarian, and she would wear all of her Christmassy and bedazzled outfits and pieces that she found at thrift stores to the school when she was there during Christmas. And they were big hits, and she's been showcasing those outfits on her channel. So I've never been a Christmassy outfit, Christmassy sweater wearing person, but I can be a little grinchy, as my daughters will tell you, and I finally found a shirt that I can get behind that kind of describes my personality, not only at Christmas, but year-round, and here it is. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Hey Booktube, it's Kim at Middle of the Bookmarch, and this is my bookish week for Sunday, December... What's the date? The 8th? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm filming on Saturday. Okay, tomorrow, today is December 8th. Oh my gosh. So, so far I've had an awesome week. We started doing some Christmassy type events, and in the middle of the week, my daughters and I went out to dinner and we went and saw Wicked. If you have not seen the play, if you haven't been to the movie yet, it was awesome. And yes, I cried at the end. It's such a powerful movie. It's a powerful ending. The talent that's showcased is unreal. And Wicked is part one. There's 2 installments. But the end of part 1 is so fantastic. I just go and see the movie. And then Thursday night, my teenage daughter and I, Friday night, my teenage daughter and I went to see a local production of The Nutcracker at the Rochester Opera House in a beautiful historic building. And we loved it. It was beautiful. It was enchanting, musical, ballet, just beautiful. And I have a very good friend whose daughter was one of the angels in the scene with the angels. And it was just so nice to see her there. And we had a great time. And then Sunday, later today, we are going with my older daughter and my son-in-law and my granddaughter to see a Christmas light display and then go out for pizza, which the 2-year-old requested. Her favorite meal is pizza and fries. I swear she eats very nutritiously the rest of the time. But so far it's been an awesome week, and you know, it's really nice at Christmas and obviously year-round to do the events, to do the things, and to really enjoy the season. And I'm trying to convince my daughter that it's not about buying the stuff and spending the money. And hopefully the older she gets, the easier that concept will be. But yeah, so let's get into the bookish subject of the video. So I had a great bookish week too. I finished 3 books, and so let me tell you about those. The first one is my audiobook. I listened to What I Ate in 1 Year by Stanley Tucci. His memoir last year called Taste was one of my favorite books of the year, one of my favorite memoirs, and he narrates. He also narrates his audiobook, What I Ate in 1 Year. And this takes the form of a diary entry for every month of the year. And what is he doing? He is literally documenting his experiences with what he ate throughout the year. It is a gastronomic extravaganza, another 5-star book from Stanley Tucci. And if you love food, especially Italian food, it is absolutely mouth-watering to listen to him recite his diary entries about all of the food that he cooked, the food that they ate, his family, their friends. He talks about a lot of famous friends, and maybe a tiny part of me thought there's a lot of name dropping here, but it's not about the famous people. It's about the food. And some of his famous friends are also foodies, and they described Tucci described their experiences in traveling and going to different countries and cities, and the foods and the restaurants and the wine. Oh my gosh. I was drooling the whole time, and it's so fun to listen to him narrate his books. So absolutely loved that audio experience. And I will be going out and buying a hard copy to put next to my copy of Taste on my bookshelf. Then, last week the week before I finished Time of the Flies by Claudia Pineiro. And this is part of the Pineiro Project with who I can only describe as such a phenomenal, intelligent, warm, articulate group of readers who are reading this project together, these books together. We are reading all of Claudia Pineiro's books that were translated into English. The conversations that we've had are just over the top, and this is probably so far one of the best group read experiences I've had on BookTube. It is awesome, and her books are wonderful. This is a continuation of All Yours, her first novel, and there's a large span of time between her writing the two books, but it picks up with the same character of Inez. So I don't want to say too much about this book, because it directly relates to the end of All Yours, or to the story in All Yours, which should be read before this one. But Inez, and the blurb on the back says it, but Inez has gone to prison by the end of the first book. I'm not going to say anything about the plot in that one. I may have already in my last review. But she's been released from prison after 15 years. So this book picks up then, and we learn what has happened to her. We learn about her new life after prison. We learn about what happened to her family. We don't really go back in time, but we do hear snippets of what everybody thought about what happened in All Yours. And the job that Inez now has, she is a fumigator. And she is a fumigator that uses chemicals that are environmentally friendly. And she loves flies. She doesn't kill flies. It's really weird because I'm grossed out by flies. I think flies are gross and disgusting. But she likes all flies, house flies, bottle flies, fruit flies. And she talks a lot about the science of flies. It's a little gross and interesting all at the same time. So Claudia Pineiro has been described as Argentine's most famous crime writer. And one of the parts of the discussions that we have all had in the group is it's not really a crime novel. There is a crime in it. But it's mostly to drive the story forward, to keep propulsing the reader to keep reading. This is mostly a character-driven book, as was her first one. But the crime is a background plot, if that makes sense, which makes it a book that I love because I love her writing. I love the way she structures her sentences, her descriptions, the way she writes her characters. There's so much depth and there's so much background for the reader to kind of sink your teeth into. So that's why I love this book. It's not a perfect book in my opinion, but it's close. And I am really looking forward to what we're going to continue with. We're going to read Thursday Night Widows next. In about a week, we're going to start that. But the Pineiro Project is amazing. I am loving it. And we're going to read all of her books translated into English all along the way. We're going to go into the new year reading Pineiro's works. And this one was a huge success. Now, after I finished Time of the Flies, I read Medea by Euripides, and this is a collected volume of Medea and other plays. So I had finished Time of the Flies and then read Medea because it was very clear that there were themes of Medea throughout Time of the Flies. And was I taken aback at how strong the connection is between the two stories? And at first I was expecting the main character to be the Medea. It's interesting how that plays out. And Medea, for anybody who doesn't know, is a woman who was married to Jason from Greek mythology. And she has a troubled background, a fairly criminal background. But she and Jason have emigrated to Corinth, which is a city and a country that is not theirs. They are immigrants. They have 2 sons. And Jason betrays Medea. So the connections between the story of Medea and Time of the Flies is very concrete, and it's almost kind of an epiphany when you realize who the Medea is. And I loved it. I loved this character. It's a very short play, very easy to read in one sitting. And there's also an analysis in here that's really helpful. But it's funny because when I went on Goodreads to record that I was reading this play, I read a lot of the reviews, and there's so many reviews that describe her as this badass female and this feminist icon. All of that is true, but when you start to read the story, it's catastrophic and violent and messy, and inhumane. I mean, I think that's a good way to describe it. But extremely striking, even in our time, in this day and age. Deserting your wife for the younger woman, far too timely of a topic, in my opinion. So those are the 3 things I finished during the week. I am currently reading 3 more books. I am listening to an audiobook called Invisible Labor, The Untold Story of the Caesarean Section by Rachel Summerstein. This is so far really interesting. And I am not going to go into details, but I've birthed 2 daughters, one through quote unquote natural childbirth, and more to come later, and the second from an emergency cesarean section. And when I wrap up the book, I'll get into a little bit more detail, but I'll put up disclaimers in case anybody doesn't want to listen to that. I tend to get fairly transparent medically. But so far that book is really interesting. And, I know so many friends and other women who have birthed children via cesarean section. And so it's a very interesting book to me. I like reading about medical topics. I continue to read Any Human Power by Amanda Scott. And this is a weird, wild book. It really is. And this is a book that I was sent for free in order to review it. It was kind of on the back burner a little bit, so I've been trying to read at least 2 chapters a day, but I am getting through it. It's about a 500-page book. Very weird, very quirky, very interesting. A lot of topics that I am, blissfully unaware of. I don't have a lot of experience in that, but I continue to read that, and I absolutely will finish it. I hope to have it done by this coming weekend. And The Piece de Resistance is the book that I just started as a buddy read with Gareth from Book, Songs, and Other Magic, is Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. This is a reread for me, and I so far I've only read the prologue and chapter 1, and I think that I'm going to have to read this slowly and check in with Gareth every few days because there's so much to discuss on every single page. And I cannot wait to keep going on this one. I think this is going to be my treat of December, which is weird. I don't read seasonally. I don't read Christmas books at Christmas, and I don't read winter books in winter. So this is going to be just an explosion of literary genius to finish the year off with. So Invisible Man, right, by Ralph Ellison. And that is it. I'm reaching behind me. Let me see if I can grab. I have some other books behind me. I think I got them. I did. So I will be starting shortly Thursday Night Widows by Claudia Pineiro. This is the next one in our Pineiro project. This goes back a little bit earlier, before Time of the Flies. Time of the Flies is her most recent novel. Thursday Night Widows was published in 2005. The English translation, translated by Miranda France, was originally translated and published in 2009. So it is about a 15-year-old book. So that's coming up in December. And eventually, once I finish Any Human Power by Amanda Scott, I pulled Wicked off of my shelf by Gregory Maguire. I'm going to reread this. I read it many, many, many years ago. When it first came out, maybe. This was published in 1995. So yeah, I think pretty closely after this was published, I read it. What I didn't even notice, this is the hardcover copy, and I love the cover, absolutely love the cover. There's the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba, but what I didn't realize is this is a cutout. So I took, and I mean, there's a map right, amazing. I took the dust jacket off, and look at the naked hardcover. Isn't that a spectacular picture? Just the art on that book. There is the map, and this book, every single page has kind of this framing on the page with the illustrations. I love when books get artistic in graphics and illustrations. And I don't know, I can't even find a chapter heading. I can't see if there we go. There's a chapter, first page of a new chapter. It's a beautiful book. Physically a beautiful object and a great story of Oz and the retelling of the Wicked Witch of the West. So once I get a little bit more bandwidth, I'm going to reread Wicked. Probably will bring me into the new year. That is it for me for my bookish week this week. Let me know in the comments below what you think or any of the books that I showed you or any other opinions that you have. Let me know what you're reading for the end of the year. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody. Clara says bye.